Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Gridiron Studios Big Rig V2, which is right here, all in this bag, and we're going to be putting it on this figure right here. So basically, I'm going to be making a heavy artillery, a heavy duty, whatever you want to say, heavy machine gun Viper, and you might be going, whoa, wait, what's that head there? Well, this is the head that comes on the extra head that comes with the Rattler, and I believe it was Jeremy Kimberlin that said this head is too good not to have on a figure, so he popped off a Viper along with the neck. I did the same thing, but I needed to kind of do a little bit more, and I saw Gridiron had this, and I was like, you know what? Let's make him his own, like, heavy machine gun Viper, right? We don't really have one of those, so let's do it. But anyway, we're going to get into this. We're going to take everything out. The first thing that I am going to kind of point out, and I'm going to show you all the accessories, is that this is kind of one of my big complaints when it comes to 3D printed stuff. And now this is packaged in a nice box. Hopefully it doesn't get destroyed. But unfortunately, the way it gets packed, you can see the barrel is bent, so it doesn't look good. Because it's 3D printed, all I have to do is heat it up with some hot water. Then I'm going to be able to force it back into place, like kind of just slowly bend it. And then it will cool down, probably run it over with some cold water. But anyway, I'm going to do that. But that's one of the disappointing things when it comes to 3D printed stuff. And it doesn't matter if you get it from Gridiron or you get it from, you know, Operation Recall, I don't know where that came from, Top Fun Toys, Arsenal, Pew Pews, or anyone else. There's always a chance that something's going to bend and melt because of the pressure that's been put on it. So anyway, let's go fix this, arm this figure up, see how he looks, and then take some photos of it. I'm really excited to get to this because I really wanted this, excited to order this. But anyway, before I do, if you like this type of stuff, you like when I give you 3D printed content, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop something that's 3D printed. Alright, so here we have it all out, and here's everything that it comes with, and I'll show you how it goes on the figure. So let's look at everything that it does come with, and he's going to get this big long machete, alright, and you can see the nice design on it. It looks like it's supposed to have maybe some sort of serration over here, and then you got the blade, and as you can see, it is a little bent, a little flexible. So hit it with some hot water, straighten it out, cool it. But I can tell this seems like a more flexible plastic that they're actually using with 3D print. And there you can see the little GS for Gridiron Studios. You can see the rivets that are supposed to be on it. You can see some slight lines in it. Not that big of a deal. And again, it all looks really nice. And he's going to have a nice, big, long, not sure if this is a machete or it's just some sort of long knife. If you know what it is, please let me know in the comments. Here's the backpack. Or shall I say, not even so much backpack. This is the the straps that are going to go around them, so it holds the backpack on. They don't use a peg system anymore. It probably works a little bit better. So, looking here, you can see how nice this looks. This is the padding, so it's not going to dig too much into them. You can see the nice little latches right there for the belt. Over on this side, you can see all the design, and again, it does look really nice. All right, little clips right there for it. Here's a couple clips. Now, you're not going to be able to clip these together, but that's perfectly fine. Again, these are toys. And on the back, you can kind of see a little bit of design. And what you have here is a little hook, so it can connect into it. And that's how this thing is going to connect. All right. So here is our backpack, and it sits up like this. This piece does come off, so we'll look at that in a second. So right here, we can see the holes here. This is where you're gonna sheath in your blade. Now again, you can actually heat this up, slide it in there and let it cool down, and it'll go straight. And on this rig right here, we have 2 flashbang grenades. You can see some really nice detail inside of it. You get 2 pineapple grenades right here, all painted in black. So if you want to do a little bit of customizing, you can. GS logo right there, and then I don't know what that is. I'm sure it's something realistic. And then he can grab it, he can carry it if need be. Then we have your ammo canister. So this is where you're going to keep all your ammo. All right, and you can kind of see right there a little bit of a print defect. So when they painted it, it was in its way. I'm going to take that off right there. And luckily, you're not really going to see it. But again, these are the types of flaws that you end up seeing when it comes to 3D printed stuff. All right, so looking at everything here, that was the actual piece up. All right, so as you look at it here, you can see the design. It's just a box. It is hollow. And then it just has a support right across there. You can see the handle and how well is detailed into it. And here's where your ammunition is going to come out, all the bullets. And this here is just going to slide directly into there. All right. And then again, we have the blade that we can slide right down there. So these units here, they're meant to house different types of things. So he uses this for many different types of accessory packs, and this might just be a little bit different. All right, so we're gonna throw that in there. Oh, I should probably show you. So this is the straps here, and you see that little lip. Again, not that it's that hard to figure out, but that sits there. And the reason why this is really good is because the holes on the back of these figures, on their back pegs, sometimes they're drilled in, they're too shallow. Sometimes they're lower than the others. If you look at the retro Televiper, he uses the same backpack, but the peg, the hole in his back is drilled lower, so the backpack doesn't seem to fit properly. This way, it's always going to fit where it's supposed to. All right. Here we have a headpiece. All right, so he can communicate. It also can silence it a little bit. There you can see the little camera that's on it. This is, again, keep from blowing your eardrums off. You got some nice padding up there, and you can see it's pretty pliable. So it should flex onto his helmet or onto his head without a problem. Now, let's say you're just going to use a regular Viper. You don't need to really worry about it, right? Because he's a Viper, he has the helmet. You can say everything's internal. All right, this is your ammo chute. So the ammunition is going to kind of come right down through here. This is going to plug in on one side and then plug into the gun. You can see the detail on it. Now this is a little bit stiffer than some of the other ones. They do have some individual links with some of the bigger chain guns. But this here is just the ammunition, and it's going to flow right through here and make some really nice designs. But if you need to, heat this up to get it to where you want it, and then you can kind of flex it to wherever you want it to go. But you can see here I'm already kind of flexing it. It shouldn't be that big of a deal unless if you move it around too much without heating it up. All right, here's a tripod, and you can see very few lines in it, but some nice detail right there. This is so it can plug into the back, so when he's just walking around with it, they can plug on like that. So you don't have to worry about not having this if he's walking around. Or we can plug the machine gun onto the top. But the detail in it is supposed to look like it's supposed to collapse. Obviously it does not. All right. And then you can see the holes right there. So a lot of detail put into this. Now we get to the big gun. And again, I've gone ahead and I've heated that up to fix it. Now the thing that I did notice here is if you look right there, you can see silver there. And you can see silver right there. They slid a rod through this. So this is one of the biggest issues when it comes to 3D printing, right? Stuff will start to sag, will start to droop. With a steel rod through it, you don't have to worry about that anymore. That's going to keep the form, and then you can get this wonderful design. And that is one thing that you can get with the 3D prints that they're doing. You can get these wonderful designs that you can't get with plastic mold injection. All right. So looking here, we got some nice detail in the machine gun. Here is your grip. All right. You can see the trigger right there. It also has a butterfly grip. So if you are using it on the tripod, here's your handle. So he can walk around. He's going to shoot basically from the hip. This is where he can cock to load the bullets, the ammunition. On the bottom, you get to see the gridiron skull. And then you can run up the barrel and you can see all the little individual air pockets, or the air holes right through there. And then you get the, I wanted to say muzzle. I guess it is technically the muzzle on the barrel. And you do have a port for blast effects. Now, how well do these blast effects work? I'm not sure. Let me just kind of flip around here. I got a couple G.I. Joe ones. And they are too big. So I don't know if he makes his own blast effects, but this one is too big. So you need a little bit of sticky tack if you want to make that work. All right. Now, how does this all go together? Well, I can show you here quickly that this obviously just sits like that. I don't think I really need to explain that. I think everyone knows how that goes, right? As for the bullets, they're going to plug in, I believe, it should be this one here. So you get the short side. That should plug directly in like that. And then if you want to take that out, you can. That plugs into it like this. And then I'll be able to walk around. But we're not going to not arm him, right? So let's get this guy, get this off. If you're wondering about this, Top Fun Retro Toys, that is their Viper weapon. It looks awesome. It looks amazing. All right. So, don't need to take anything off him. I was really interested to see how it's going to work with his plate carrier. So I'm going to slide this on here. And then we're able to get that arm back just like so. And it's going to sit up there. Now, it's going to sit up a little bit high. It's going to change the dynamic of it. If you're using someone like heavy duty, you're not going to have to worry about it because he doesn't have a vest. All right. And then this here is going to clip right on like so. All right. I don't think we can complain too much about that. I think that looks pretty nice. All right, so let's pop this off. It's gonna be a lot easier to get this armed up like this. Gonna grab that handle up there. Make sure you pry these hands. One thing that the classified figures, I will say this, they started to make the hands much more pliable to open up. And we know exactly how this guy's gonna be firing, right? But let's make sure that he actually can, because it's going to look kind of stupid if you don't. All right. So we should be able to wrap this. It's going to be a stretch. So that is kind of worrisome. Or technically, maybe. See, this is where you end up running into a few things, man. Like, you really got to play around a little bit with it. And if you're wondering why I'm doing it like this, before you go ahead and order it, I want you to see what you might have to do to make this work. So, I actually do think it's actually supposed to inject this way. So technically, it should come around here. Because bullets, if I am correct, usually eject out this way. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. And then we have this little piece right here. Oh, it's an eyepiece. So we have an eyepiece that's going to help. Oh, it just hides it. So now he looks directly out one eye. We can take this. We're going to pop this upside down. And now we have a Viper machine gunner. We're still utilizing that wonderful, wonderful head sculpt that came with the HasLab for the Rattler gunner. We got this wonderful retro Viper, and now I have a customized Gridiron one. So now it's a nice heavy machine gunner Viper. That was a lot to say, so. But there you go. You can see how that sets as for getting them down onto the ground. Oh, unfortunately, these guys don't really look up. Might actually have to take that all off. But you do have your butterfly grips right there. We've already seen how butterfly grips work on the vamp and everything. But with this on here, it's actually going to cause a little bit of a problem there. So I really can't get them to lay down like that. You'd have to put them on something. It's going to take a lot of work to do that, but hey, you guys can figure that out. I wanted to show you how this looks. So if you're looking to maybe upgrade it, maybe you have this Rattler, the Rattler, and you're like, I have this extra head, I didn't know where to put it. You can easily pop it on a Viper and it looks amazing. And now you've made your own customized Viper machine gunner. And I think that's about it. I think it's time to wrap this up. All right, so there you go. That is your Gridiron Studios Big Rig V2 October. And again, he is now the Viper machine gunner, heavy machine gunner. I probably should have thought of a better name. I'll have it on the screen or on the thumbnail so you'll be able to kind of understand. I wanted something different. Again, I love this head sculpt that came with the Rattler gunner. And I saw, I believe, once again, Jeremy Kimberlin. He popped it on there. The skin tones match close enough. You have to use the neck peg. But let's make him something a little bit different, right? He already has the mask. So he doesn't have the Viper helmet, but give him like this big machine gun. He's got the earpieces. So again, actually looks pretty cool. I'm excited to get this guy out, do some pictures with him, and have him in my display and just have something different, right? This is kit bashing. It's somewhat customizing, but it's more of a kit bash. I don't have to alter anything that I don't want. If I want to paint anything, I want to take paint off, I can on the figure, but I don't have to. And it looks like a completely different character, something how Hasbro could have made. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time with me. I'm looking forward to getting some pictures with this guy. But please, before I take off, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop something that's 3D printed. Now, don't go anywhere. You're like, have you ever done any more Gridiron stuff? Well, the truth is, for the longest time, I probably did the most reviews on Gridiron. So you know what? I'm going to leave something right up here. And down here will be a playlist of all the Gridiron stuff and other custom stuff that I've reviewed. Take care.